Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be using Canva again. Now just to clarify, because somebody left me a message on one of my videos some time ago saying that Canva wasn't free and that it expired after 30 days. That is not the case. Canva has a free and a paid for version. I've used Canva for years. I have a Canva playlist here on my channel and I only ever use the free version. There's no trial version. Once you sign up for the free version, you just use it as long as you want. So I'm going to be using Canva, and I'm going to also be using another free program, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So you can see that I'm in Canva here. I'm going to come up to create a design. I'm going to come down to custom size. This is generally on pixels by default. I'm going to change it to inches. And I'm going to type in 8.25 by 11.75 because that's the size of A4 paper I use. You can make this any size you want. I'm just doing it on a piece of A4 paper just to make it a bit more manageable for the screen recording. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit odd. I seem to be getting or having some kind of a cold since yesterday and today. So I'm going to 8.25 by 11.75 inches, create new design. And that's going to give me a nice new blank page here in Canva. In Canva, in the past, I've shown you how to use frames. So if you come over to the left, you need to be in Elements and then type Frames and enter. You'll see all these frames appear. I'm going to select the bit here that says see all, and it will bring up all these frames, and there's all different shapes, different sizes. There's an alphabet, but one style of alphabet. And if you scroll through, you'll see there's numbers, there's kind of like speech bubbles, jigsaws, all sorts of things. But if you wanted to type somebody's name and fill it with an image, which is basically what a frame is. It's a frame that you put something into. So think of it as like a picture frame. You have a frame and you put a photograph in it or you put a picture in it. Well, that's what these frames are that are here in Canva. But as I said, the alphabet is only one alphabet. You can resize it, but it's all the same style. So let's just show you how they work quickly, in case you've not seen any other of my videos. So if I drag in this heart, I can resize this heart, and you know it's a frame because it always has this kind of like scenery and cloud in it. Okay, and then if I come over to my uploads and I just go and drag a picture of my dog Eddie and drop it in, he drops into that frame, and then I can double click on it and I can move it down to, position him in that frame. If I just click on this picture, you'll see it's a rectangular picture. But obviously, if I want it to take on the shape of something, I need a frame. So that's its kind of simplest form, how to use it. So if I go back to Elements and back to Frames, and then if I just scroll down and I'll find a letter. So if I just drag in an A, it will bring this A. Again, I can resize it. So I've now got this letter A. I can go back to my uploads and I can grab Eddie again and drop him into this letter A. So you'll see frames are really good because you can use them for different things. But like I say, with Canva, you're restricted to the frames that they have. I mean, there are a lot, but obviously you're restricted. There's only this one font style with fonts and numbers. Now you might want to use, a font of your own that you've downloaded to your computer, or, another style font. So what do you do in that case if you want to create a frame and put, say, photographs or something in a frame, but you don't like anything that's in here? There may be more in the paid version of Canva, but again, there might be things in here that you don't want. You want a specific shape, or as I say, you want a specific type of font. So I'm just going to get rid of these frames, and then now I'm going to go over to a program called Figma. So it's www.figma.com. Again, this is completely free. All as I did for this was put in my name, an email, and set a password up. Once you've done that, you will come to, it might say create new project, and it will bring you up this screen. Now, I think in the free version of this, you can only have 3 pages, but you can use the same page over and over and over again. I've been using 1 page while I've been playing with this. And once I've downloaded the design, I've just deleted everything off that page, and then I can come back and use this page over again. You can see I'm on page 1 and it says 2 free pages left. So if I wanted to save a complete page here within Figma, in the free version, I would only have 3 pages. But the reason I'm using Figma is just to create a file that I can download and then upload into Canva. So I don't, as I say, I can use the same page over and over and over again. Let's go to the text tool at the top of the page, left click on the page, and I'm going to type mum in capital letters. Now, over here on the right hand side, under text, it's showing me that the font that is chosen is Jomhuri. I'm not even sure if that's how you say it. And that's only because that's the last font I used when I was using this program. Okay. And again, I'm just going to close that down. In the size, it normally comes in around about 12 points. So you can barely see it. Don't try and get hold of it and resize it. The best thing to do is come over to the box, the point size box in the text, and change it to about 300 for now. And that'll make it easier for you to see what you're working with. Now, again, if you want to click on the fonts, you can look at all fonts. You can use popular fonts, Google fonts, fonts installed by you. I've not installed anything into this program, so I'm just going to click on all fonts, and I'm just going to go down and have a look and see what there is in here. I don't know if this pulls anything through what I've got installed. I think it might, because I recognize Lobster as an installed font. So it's bringing through the fonts that I've installed on my computer. So I'm going to choose this one, Luckiest Guy. I think this is from Creative Fabrica. If it is, I will link to it in the accompanying blog post. So if you're watching this on YouTube, directly under the title of the video is the description. It may say show more, see more, or more. If you click on that, the link to my website and blog is in the description of the video. Just go over to my website at applelover53.co.uk, click on the blog tab and look for the thumbnail of this video and you'll find it. If you're already watching this video on my blog, all the links will be directly under the video. Okay, so I'm using Luckiest Guy and I've made it 300. With it selected, again, over here on the right hand side, we're under like the properties panel. This is like very similar to what you see in Canvas Workspace. You know, it shows you where this word is positioned in the X and Y axis on the page, etc. It shows you, you know, the text, what the name of the font I'm using, and I've just shown you, you know, how to resize it. So then underneath you've got this box that says fill, and you'll see here it's got a black colour fill, and that is shown by what's on screen. So if I click the fill box and I wanted to change it to red, the colour box comes up. If I click it and make it red, you'll now see it's changed it to red. And when I click back on it, you'll see the fill is red. But what we have to do, we have to make this an image fill, and we have to download it as a PDF to then be able to upload that PDF back into Canva to turn it into a frame. Again, I'm going to click on the red fill box, and you'll see there are 4 boxes. The third box along, if you hover over it, says image. If I click on image, by default, it will put this checkerboard image into it. It doesn't matter whether I use that checkerboard or here it says choose an image. I can go to my desktop where I've got a picture of Eddie, my dog, and I can upload that. And now it's brought Eddie into my Word Mum. I tend to just use the checkerboard, but for now, I'll leave it as it is, okay? So I've got my Word Mum that you saw me type in here, and I've just filled it with any old image. I'm not going to use this image. It just needs to be filled with an image to be able to bring it into Canva to make it into a frame. So with it selected now, I come down to the bottom of this properties panel and you'll see it says export. I click on the plus and by default PNG is selected. You need to click on the arrow next to PNG and you need to choose PDF. And then you need to choose the big box underneath that says export mum. Now it will say here whatever it's called over here. It's called itself mum because I've just typed that, but you'll see in a minute when I bring in an actual SVG file, it will be different and we can change it. So I've got it selected, I've changed it to a PDF and I'm going to say export mum. That's just going to drop that folder now, or that PDF file, into my downloads folder. So from here, I'm going to go back to Canva, to my plain blank document that you saw me make. I'm going to open my downloads folder and I'm going to drag in the mum and just wait for it over here to upload on the left. Now normally when we're in Canva, we're normally on elements or we're on text, you know, the tabs on the side, or we're on uploads. But when you bring these PDF files in, they're not in any of those, they're under your projects. So you click on your project and there's the file I've just downloaded from Figma and now uploaded into Canva. So I'm going to left click to drop it on the page. I don't know why I've got that word mum above it, but I'm just going to select that and delete it. So here's what I made in Figma. I'm just going to hold my shift key down and drag it in just so it fits on the page better. But now I can stretch it out, can do whatever I want with it. But this is not a frame yet, okay? So with it selected, I'm going to click on the rubbish bin and then you get two options, delete image and delete frame. If we delete the frame, we'll delete everything. What we want to do is get rid of the image I put into that text so that we can then use it again for something else. So we choose delete image. And when I left click on it anywhere on the page to deselect, now you'll see I've got a frame. You always know it's a frame because you've always got the blue sky, you know, the green grass or horizon or whatever, and you've got the cloud shape. So from here now, if I come to my regular uploads folder and let's just say I wanted to fill this word mum with this picture, I just drag it in and drop it. And if I don't like where it's positioned, if I double click it, it will show me the image and I can generally move it around. Don't want to, I'm going to delete that image because I don't like that image. So let's try and find something else. Let's go to elements. Let's get rid of the search for frames and let's type flowers and hit enter. And we want photos. So now I wouldn't use this field of flowers here because it's a pro version, but just to show you in the video, I am going to use it. But obviously if I was going to download this, I would have to pay for this picture, but I'm only showing you. I mean, probably be able to find one that's free, but for now I'm going to left click and drag and I'm going to drop that into my word mum. And look, you can see it's filled my word mum now with that image. Again, if I select it, click on the bin and click delete image, it gets rid of the image but leaves me with the frame. So let's see if there's anything else that we can use. Creating these frames work best with block images, so block fonts or block SVG shapes, okay? Let's just see if there's anything else. Again, I'm just going to drag this one in and drop it in. Look at that. So, you know, if you've got the paid for version, you could print this out. You could get your Scan and Cut to cut, you know, a box or a frame or something around it and put it on the front of a card or whatever you want to do with it. If you're using the free version, it says remove watermark. If you try to download this, it will tell you that it's using paid for elements and you might have to pay a small amount to use that photograph. I'm just showing you just how the frame works. So from here now, with this selected, I would go to the top of the page and I would just call it Mum and hit enter. Then I would come over to File and Save. And then I would go back to my projects and it will appear here at some point. But I'm also going to show you how to do it with an SVG shape. So again, I'm going to hop back to Figma. I've done with this now. I don't need it. I can get rid of it. Still, as I say, on page 1. So now on my desktop, I've got a folder that I downloaded from Creative Fabrica and it's got some flowers in it. I'm going to choose the first folder and I'm going to drag the SVG daisy onto my mat here in Figma. You can see it's over here on the left, daisy. And when you look at it, there's a tiny, tiny arrow on the left-hand side. If I click on that arrow, it brings me something that says group with another arrow. So again, if I click on that arrow, again, it brings me another item that says group with another arrow. So if I click on that and then I click on the next one down, that says it's a vector and that's the circle in the middle. So I'm going to delete that. And then the next group down, if I click on the arrow, if I click on these, it's all the different leaves in this element. Now this has all got to be one unit or the download PDF to export. Okay, so if I click back on the up arrow of this group, basically I've got the group here. So I'm going to select all of this. At the top of the page here, there's 2 boxes, which is in canvases like the Weld or Unite box. If I click on the downward arrow next to it, it says Union Section. When I select this, it should hopefully just make this one item. Okay, if you look over on the left now, it says Union. Okay, again, if I select on it and come over to the fill and say let's just change it to red so we know it works. Okay, so if you can fill it with a colour and it's how you expect it to look, then you know it's worked. We need to have it filled with an image for it to go into Canva. You can't send it into Canva just with a colour fill. So again, while we're still on the colour fill box, the third icon along, select image and it fills it with this checkerboard. That's fine for me. That's how I've been sending most of mine over. But I wanted to show you that you can actually put a physical image in it. Okay, I'm going to close that box down now. So we've got what started off as an SVG daisy cutting file, brought it in. I got rid of the middle because I didn't want the middle in it. I've made it a union and I've filled it with this checkerboard image. With it selected, I'm going to come to export. Remember, it always shows as PNG by default. You've got to change it to a PDF. Over here on the right, on the left hand side, where it says union, if I right click and say rename, I can rename this to Daisy and hit enter. Now it's saying it's going to export Daisy because it's pulling the name from over here on the left. So PDF, export Daisy, that drops into my downloads folder. I come back over to Canva. I've still got my frame there. I can get rid of that if I want to, just leave myself with this blank page. I can go to my downloads folder I can find my daisy, drop it in. Again, it appears in projects, not in elements or uploads where most of your images normally go when you drag them into Canva. So you need to go to projects. I'm going to drag it in. There's my daisy. I'm going to make sure I left click to select it. I'm going to come to the rubbish bin at the top and choose delete image. And there's my daisy frame. And then from here, if I want to resize it down, I can do. And again, if I go back to my elements, and let's get rid of the flowers. In fact, I won't do elements. Let's do uploads. And I'll use Eddie again. So if I want to drag Ed in now and drop him into this daisy, I can double click and I can see the photograph of him behind. If I bring this down, I can make him smaller if I want to. But you can see now he's dropped in to this daisy. You don't have to save your frames, obviously, with an image. You can just save them as a frame. So again, I'm going to go to the rubbish bin. I'm going to delete Ed. So I've got the frame. I'm going to change the name up here to Daisy. I think I've already downloaded this Daisy once, but again, I'm going to call it Daisy. Hit enter on my keyboard. I'm going to go File, Save. Then I'm going to come back to my projects. I'm going to come to my folders. I'm going to come to all designs. I'm going to choose the daisy that I've just saved. I'm going to left click it. No, I'm going to choose the three dots on the right hand side of the daisy. And I'm just going to say move it to a folder. I've created a folder called frames. I'm going to select my frames folder and click move to folder, and it's told me it's moved. So now if I come to my folders, which is still under projects, and come to frames, you'll see I've got two frames. So if I just make this one smaller, move it out of the way, I'll show you one that I already made. It's a jigsaw, although you can't really tell it is for now because the image is still in it, the checkerboard image from Figma. So if I click on the rubbish bin and click delete frame, you'll see I've got a set of jigsaw puzzles that I can resize and use as a frame if I want to. So try it out. As I say, it best works with solid text or solid SVGs, because obviously when you're creating a frame, the whole idea of using a frame is to drop something into it. So you want to be able to see it. So you want what you're using to be, you know, like a solid base, if you like, for whatever you're going to drop into it. So the two programs, just recapping, I can go back to Figma, I can select this and hit delete. And then over on the right hand side, I can right click, I can select where it says Daisy Flower and hit delete on my keyboard. So I'm just back now to my plain page one. So I can close this program down, and then next time I open it and I want to make more frames, I can just drag them in and just keep using this same frame. So I've used the free version of Canva at canva.com. And I've used the free version of Figma at figma.com to be able to make frames that I can then use in Canva, fill them with whatever I want to put in them, and then use them in any of my other projects. The Daisy frame was from Creative Fabrica. I will, as I say, put a link to it in the accompanying blog post. So just for clarification, if you're watching on YouTube, just click into the description box. There's a link that says my website and blog. Just head over to my website, click on the blog tab and look for this blog post. So I hope that was helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.